Why is it size 1?
Okay, hey Hallie and Aubrey, we are going to fill out this top box. You need this paper from me. This is an additional paper. We're going to be filling this out throughout the chapters. So today is parallelograms. We're going to fill just this top left box out. Here we go. Okay, I want to draw a picture of a parallelogram. Yours might not look like mine, but here we go. This is my favorite drawing of a parallelogram. That's how I always draw it when I think of a parallelogram. Okay, so. I mean, no, it's not a rhombus because I make it too long. It's not a rhombus. So anyway, the top and bottom are parallel. The left and right are at the same slant. So that's how I draw them. Maybe you draw them the other direction, however you want to draw them, but that's a parallelogram. Okay? All right, now, there are 5 main things that you need to remember about a parallelogram that we're going to put on this sheet. 5 main things, okay? 2 of them have to do with the sides of a parallelogram. 2 of them have to do with the angles of a parallelogram, and 1 of them has to do with the diagonals. So let's talk about sides. Let's talk about sides. What do I know about the sides of a parallelogram? Opposite sides are parallel, and there's my symbol for parallel. I paraphrase, okay? Now, how do I mark this diagram to know that they are parallel?
Line.
That means congruent. Arrow. You got to do arrows, right? That means that they are like sloped the same, right? And then if I do arrows here, I want to do double arrows. So you can either do double arrows on the top and bottom or double arrows on the side. But that notes that like those 2 go together, those 2 go together. Got it? Opposite sides are parallel. All right, what else do I know about the sides?
They're equal.
Which ones?
The opposite sides.
Opposite sides are congruent. That's the symbol for congruent. Equal sign with a little squiggle. Okay, now how do I show that they're congruent?
9.
The little tick mark, okay? So I'm going to do 1 tick here, and I'm going to do 2 ticks here and here. So, like, it makes it easier. I don't know. You do whatever, right? So 2 ticks on whichever opposite pair and 1 tick on the other opposite pair. Got it? Okay, that's all the information about the sides. Okay, let's talk about the angles. What do we know about the angles of a parallelogram? The opposite ones are equal. So this guy and this guy are the same, and this guy and this guy are the same. So opposite angles are congruent. They are the same measure. Opposite angles are going to be the same measure. Okay. Okay, good? Yes? All right, these next 2 are going to be the hard ones. So these are going to be the ones you have to pay attention to, because at the end of this chapter, if you didn't hear me before, you will be given a blank one of these and you have to fill it in. It's a quiz grade, okay? You have to fill it in with all the information that you know. So this one is hard, put a star by him, and this one is hard, put a star by him. So when you are going to study, those are going to be 2 that you're not going to recall, like, unless you probably study them. You could probably generate those on your own, right? But the other 2 are a little bit harder. So here is some information about the angles. Are you ready for this? Real quick, let's problem solve. How many degrees do all 4 of those angles add up to be? 360. So there's 360 degrees inside of here. Don't put that down yet. There's 360 inside of here, okay? Now, here's the deal. Let's say this guy is 40 degrees. This guy would also be 40 degrees. Do you know how much this one is? How do you know it's 140? Like you could add and subtract, okay? But also, these 2, and these 2, and these 2, and these 2, any ones that are right next to each other add up to be 180. So like 40 and 140, those add up to be 180. Now, what are the angles called that are right next to each other? They are called consecutive angles. So consecutive angles are supplementary, okay, which means they add up to be 180. Sum to 180 degrees, okay? The ones that are right next to each other are going to add up to be 180. So if I know that that's 40, I know that that's 140. If I know that that's 20, I know the other one's 160, right? Okay, etc. So that might be one that's a little bit harder to recall. Yes, it makes sense, but it's a little harder to remember. Okay, so I have you put a star by that. And then the last thing has to do with the diagonals. Okay, and here's what a diagonal looks like. It looks like a diagonal. It's this guy right here and this guy right here. Okay, now, one thing, are those diagonals the same length? Like these corners are closer together, right? That, like, so this one is a lot longer of a diagonal. What's true about those diagonals, though?
They're the midpoint to each other.
Yeah, they split each other in half, right? So what I know is like this side right here is the same as that one, right? Like this chunk and this chunk are exactly the same length. And also, this chunk right here and this chunk right here are exactly the same length. What's that called if they split each other in half? Like it's
Bisect.
midpoint, but they bisect each other. Bisect means separate into two equal pieces, okay? So I'm going to say the diagonals bisect each other, right? They separate into two equal pieces, okay? All right, that's important to know. So this chunk is the same as that one. This little piece is the same as that little piece, okay? That's the way that it works.
I think each other's one word.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. Whatever. You do you. Okay. All right. There you go. That's all the information about a parallelogram. Got it? Okay. Beautiful. Let's go to the notes. 7-2, parallelograms. Let's talk about some things. Here is the stuff that we've already written down. We've already written these theorems down. We put them on our little sheet. So this is kind of like your blue sheet. This is kind of like your theorem sheet, right? Okay. So quadrilateral has opposite sides congruent, opposite angles congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary. This is another thing. If a parallelogram has one right angle, then all of them are right angles. Does that make sense? If a parallelogram has one right angle, then all of them have to be right angles, right? Okay, so it has to be either square or rectangle. Okay? All right, let's go example 1. These are going to be super easy, folks. We're going to, like, go right on through this. They want to know what the length of CD is. 4 feet. Like, that's not hard, right? Like, these should be just easy things, okay? Here we go. Let's go to this one. Find the measure of angle D. Let's go to the check. 106. What is FG? What are they asking for when they say
8
FG?
inches.
Yeah, this bottom side right here, 8 inches. There you go. Okay? Like, not hard. It all matches. Okay. Example 2. We're going to skip the proof. Let's go to example 3. Go to example 3. Okay. Now, the hardest part, just leave him here.
We're skipping a lot.
We are skipping a lot. Example 3. The hardest part with some of these is knowing what they're asking for or what they're talking about. So where does 3z minus 4, what is that labeling?
The line.
Which line?
Middle one. The AE.
That's this right here. The AE line. That's 3z minus 4. That's what he's labeling. Got it? What's z plus 5? This guy, EC. Okay, what do I know about those two pieces?
They're equal.
They're equal, so I'm going to set them equal. 3z minus 4 equals z plus 5. Okay, and then I do the math. What would you like to move? I have to do my variables together first. You guys are crazy.
No.
Plus 4, not 9. Plus 4. 2z equals 9. Z equals boo. Z equals 4.5. Is that what they asked for? Find the values of x
Oh,
and z.
wait, what freak is that?
Oh. They didn't label them on the diagram. Do you see where right here? The measure of angle ADC. Which one is ADC?
Bottom left corner.
The full bottom left corner. That is 4x. Okay? And then they say DAB.
A.
That's angle A. The whole angle A is 2x minus 6. Are those two equal to each other? Those two angles?
No, but
They add up to be 180. They're consecutive ones. They're right next to each other. Okay? So 4x plus 2x minus 6 equals 180. Okay? This is 6x. I'm gonna add the 6. You are just being annoying. Okay, divide by 6. X is. Now you're not gonna say it seriously. Silly boy. 31 degrees. Okay, good. Happy with that? So z and x, all the things, right? Like this is not gonna be a really hard section. Okay, good. Ready?
no.
Last thing. Thomas is making envelopes to sell with handmade cards. He uses is this the last one? See, but look at how long this takes. Look at that. They do it super silly. Thomas is making envelopes to sell with handmade cards. He uses a different style of paper to create the flap of the envelope, and he edges the envelope with washi tape. Girls, do we know what washi tape is?
Sure do.
Yep. Boys, do you know what washi tape is?
Yeah, look at
You do know what washi tape is? You would. You didn't hear that. Anyway, okay, whatever. Washi tape. Do you have washi tape somewhere? She's got washi tape. There you go. It looks like it's pretty. It's like pretty like masking tape. It's pretty masking tape. It's girly masking tape. Okay, whatever. Anyway, the envelopes are parallelograms. So A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. Listen, shh. It is a parallelogram, and the edges of the flaps lie along the diagonals of the parallelograms. Okay, the edges of the flaps. Do you know what the flap is? This right here is along the diagonal. So in other words, this point right here is exactly in the middle of the parallelogram. Do you see that? Okay. Find the area of the flap and the perimeter of the envelope. Okay. How do you find perimeter of the envelope? Count. Okay. How tall is that side? I don't know. 3 plus 2, 4, 6, 7. So 10. How long is the bottom side? 2, 4, 6, 7, 14, right? That means this is 14 and this is 10. And if I'm finding perimeter, add all those up. 48 centimeters is the edges, the perimeter. You're just adding them all together. They want me to find the area of the flap. What shape is the flap? What's the area of a triangle?
Half base times height.
Oh, that's not a very good triangle. 1/2 base times height. Okay, what's the base of that triangle?
The top
14. Like the top is the base, okay? And, yeah, whatever, it's fine. What's the height of the triangle?
Oh, 6, 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5?
That was real
Okay,
close.
5. So half of 14 is 7, and 7 times 5 is
Way to go.
35 what?
Units.
Not units, centimeters squared. That's the area of the flap, yeah?
Beat me next time.
Not too bad. Good? Happy with that? Beautiful. Okay. All right. They had step 1, step 2. Oh my gosh, to find the height.
Count. Rain. No, you don't have it.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't need a midpoint to find that. Oh my good heaven's sakes, that's ridiculous. Anyway, okay, homework, page 417.
1 through
That's
3.
not his.
You don't know.
He's not doing
Why are you doing it in yellow? I can't even
Jacob.
about it.
Jacob.
Oh, such a whiner. Page 417. All right.
What do you want it to be?
And we are 7-2, 1 through 5,
Jacob, this one's gonna be
9 through 13, all on each one of these. 1 through 5, 9 through 13, 19 through 24. There you go.
No proof.
No.
That, I can't see
Yeah,
that.
you gotta go back. This one can be yours.
I don't
There you go.
understand. Oh,
Okay.
not accepted.
So,
There you go.
All of
All. But there's no proofs.
Yay!
Yay, you're welcome.
good lord.
19 through 24.
13 and 19.
Kid, you start now, you'll be done well before the bell rings.
You think?
I'm so sure of it.
Oh, really?
I am so sure of it.
That was
Okay,
quick.
Ella.
Yes,
I
go quick.
perfectly predicted the ones we were going to have to do.
You perfectly predicted them.
Yeah, I predicted 4
Nice.
of them.
Okay, goodbye, people watching this.